Okay, Mario, we discussed free will. How do you see this topic?
Hi Robert, I hope you are good. I see this topic very interesting because it bothered me quite a long time when I was younger, especially since I was Christian at that time. And of course that understanding of free will it developed how I was developing my understanding of religion and life and everything. What about you?
Well, free will is a very large topic, so in my opinion, free will is granted to all people. That's my opinion. If a person wants to be good, he can. If a person wants to be bad, he can. We see this in the Torah in Genesis 3:22. It says, "Behold, man has become like the unique one among us, knowing good and bad." So this teaches that humankind is unique in the world because we have free will. Animals do not have free will. Angels do not have free will. It is very interesting to point out that in Judaism, Satan is just an angel. He does not have the free will to oppose God, and he is under God's control, right? So this is unlike other religions which say that Satan is God's enemy, of course.
Yes, I believe so as well. That's interesting point because Christianity is, I think, divided. I mean, that's my remembering of that teaching that our free will is limited to some extent. From my perspective today, free will has just a religious meaning. So I can find it. When I was in Malaysia, many people ask me like, what do you think about this, about that? So they said like every step is planned by Allah. So Allah knows everything, and they don't have any freedom except what was the purpose of their life planned by Allah. So in that way, that is very big range from what you said, what I think, and what they think, and I believe that is of course development through religions. In my experience, my experience is similar to what you said about Torah and everything. I believe we have free will, absolutely, which might be limited to some extent with our beliefs, with our social upbringing, without our development, maybe some karma, means past life experiences. If we have some, let's say, wound from past lives, which is maybe connected with this life, and we need to solve some problem, some attachment or whatever holds us back. But at the same moment, that free will is an opportunity to overcome that let's say attachments we build up in these lives, or we withdraw from past lives, like a download before we were born. In my opinion, also, I think that concept of free will is also very open to manipulation, because you say if there is some supernatural being, God or whatever, he didn't give you free will, so you are under his control. And when you have some middleman who explains that will of that supernatural being, then you have manipulations all over the world. So
yes, in Judaism, nobody is born good or evil. So we become good or evil using our free will. And likewise, we have the free will to be wise or foolish, merciful or cruel, miserly or generous, or to acquire any other character traits.
So you don't think, or Judaism doesn't think that there is some downloaded preset from which we have kind of not that our free will is limited, but it's kind of shaded in the beginning if you don't overcome that obstacles or whatever.
That's a very interesting question. In Judaism, every person has a natural destiny. So every person has a natural destiny, and in Judaism, one way of knowing your natural destiny and learning your natural destiny is through astrology, right? So in Judaism, astrology and natural destiny are not superstitions. They are part of standard Judaism. However, in Judaism, we have the free will to accept or reject our natural destiny, right? So
So that is not
Judaism
like a faith.
really focuses on free will a lot, and free will is a fundamental principle of Judaism.
Don't you think that natural destiny is kind of your fate or something like that?
Well, you can call it fate. In classical Hebrew, it's called a mazel. You probably heard the phrase mazel tov, right?
Mazel tov, yeah.
So mazel tov literally means good destiny, right? So that's a Hebrew phrase. But in classical Hebrew, a mazel means natural destiny, which God gave a person, right?
That actually fits in my understanding of free will, because I have that extension from my personal experiences, that I was limited in the beginning of my life with some things which I couldn't understand at that time. Now I understand better because I was exploring my past lives and wounds and how I felt that time. And from that I even changed one destiny. That could be the special episode, how I changed my destiny when I split from my girlfriend that time, where from which actually we agreed to have a child in this life because we were reborn together for many lives. But then the purpose of that event, through my personal development at that time, the purpose just vanished. So we, in some subconscious level or spiritual dimension, we just nilled that contract, and we split on the physical level. We split, and then we parted our ways. She has her experience, so exactly how I learned what our mutual experience should have been. She has that experience now in her life, just without me, but with another person. So
Okay, my question for you is: do you think that people deny free will in order to avoid personal responsibility?
That was my topic as well. That is definitely big issue, like with everything in life. When you say you can drop your personal responsibility, believing in government, that believing in the law, whatever. The same thing is with free will. When they say, okay, that is predestined to me, who am I to complain? So you actually drop your personal responsibility. That is a big issue, and people then
it is.
Actually, with that, delegating free will to some being or a religious organization or whatever, your wife, whoever, doesn't matter, you actually quit your life and your life purpose.
Yes, I agree with you, and you have no real way of improving yourself if you deny personal responsibility.
Exactly, because you don't have choices. Your choices are then limited if you attach to some person. Like any attachment, you can attach with you can attach to gold, to money, whatever becomes your fake god or whatever. That's also how you lose your free will. You limit your choices.
I know there are some religious critics of the Torah who say that the Jewish Torah is too hard to keep. It has too many commandments. However, when you read the Torah itself, it actually says that this commandment is very near to you and very close to you, so that you can keep it. So the Torah itself actually confirms over and over again that we have the free will to keep its commandments, right?
Well, I would agree with those people from the reason that I think we should have a kind of clear playground, not the playground with so many rules. That's my opinion, of course. Because if you...
Okay, I mentioned in a previous discussion that non-Jewish obligations are much fewer in Judaism than Jewish obligations, right? So there is a big difference between 613 and 7 commandments.
Of course, but that doesn't, in general, that doesn't matter, because let's say if you look at the Buddhism or whatever, they have basic rules. Then from that rules, people developed million small instructions or rules or whatever. I don't think that analyzing and making things so atomic helps at all, because then you can develop guilt if you cannot follow to to the smallest part of the rule or advice, if you're gonna follow that, you can develop a guilt. And there is never clear, let's say, border or a clear line between God's will in general, if you believe, or purpose of life, if I believe, and that atomic rules which are maybe derived. Oh my goodness, derived from
yes,
from top level rules or commandments. So I kind of oppose to going too deep, because then religion becomes just mental exercise, and there is no terrain for you to explore life in accordance to what you believe, either Judaism or Buddhism or whatever. You need to have that playground to explore life from your personal perspective, following top level rules. That's my opinion, based on 700 or seven commandments. I don't make any difference between.
There was a famous rabbi called Rabbi Jacob Emanuel Shochet, who wrote a very, very good essay where he explained that the Torah reflects the infinity of God. So in Judaism, you have 613 commandments for Jews and 7 for Gentiles, but those commandments have infinite details. So those infinite details are something you would call atomic rules or particular details, probably, right?
I wouldn't agree with him, because that's kind of arrogant to say. That's just a mental exercise from his side, that you connect work of people with work of God, if you believe in God. So, in my opinion, because the societies change, the religion changes, so everything changes with life. You can never write all commandments to the last word, because life has been changing all the time. So the commandments will be improved, or should be improved all the time. I don't see that like a endlessness of God or His almightiness or whatever. Just exercise our mental approach to religion, which I don't think is deep enough, like a personal experience of life, or let's say if you believe God or supernatural being, which I think it's the ultimate goal of all of us. For all of us.
Okay, Mario. Thank you for an interesting discussion.
It was always pleasure with talking to you, Robert. I believe we maybe touched some new subjects, maybe opened some new doors.
Yes, I hope so. We always discuss interesting topics, and hopefully the listeners will enjoy it as well.
I like also all our subjects. I hope we will get some feedback, so we know how to proceed. Thank you so much.
Okay,
and have a great day.
Yes, exactly. I hope so too. And as always, we are Godless Judaism.
We discuss atheism, religion, and everything else.